Hi, it's James and Terry, and I'd like to introduce Peter, who is the chairman of the Market Deeping Model Railway Club.
Hello, Peter. Cheers.
Hi, good to see you.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good health.
Now, too much and whatever. I'm glad to see that we are already getting you into our bad ways.
Terribly bad. Terribly bad.
Now, this is a Rudeberg, which is a South African wine, and it's actually a 2019, so at the moment it's about 5 years old, and this one was made to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the vineyard. The vineyard is La Concorde, which is in a town called Paarl, which is inland from Cape Town, about 70 kilometres away. So yes, there will be an element of the ocean and the sea breezes, etc., but pretty much it's actually a land-based wine. Now, it's a red blend, and it's produced by KWV. I haven't got enough cough mixture with me to explain what that means in, or to pronounce that in Afrikaans. However, it's basically the Cape Wine Cooperative. Now, when we look at the wine, it has the most amazing nose. I don't even need to move it closer than that to be able to smell this wine. I'm getting a lot of red berries. I think there's a little bit more in there as well. I get a touch of cedar and a little bit of spicy oak. Very, very artistic of me, I know, but I think that they're in there. Now, when we taste it, now that is a really quite well-balanced wine. Now, what is meant by well-balanced? Well, you have the tannins, and that tends to dry out your mouth. But you also have the alcohol, and that makes you salivate. So if the two are broadly on a par, then it means that it's a balanced wine. Now, I'm getting a lot of fruits. I'm getting oak. It was stored in oak barrels for a period of time. And I think that this would go, I mean, personally, you and I would drink it by itself. And
Correct, 100%.
And at least one more bottle as well. And I think it would work with anything from the barbecue. Now, officially, they say chicken. I personally wouldn't. I think it would go very well with venison, though.
Well, I would say with chicken, if it's been produced in the Cape Malay tradition, with a lot that sort of sweet and sour, that nice soft sort of curry that normally comes into the Cape Malay sort of dishes, I can see that working as well with a lot of tomato added in and onion. So sort of a rich dish. This wine needs rich food.
Yeah.
This isn't a cheese and crackers.
No.
wine.
No. Right. Well, there's the wine. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, everybody. Well done.
Hi, we've stopped drinking for a moment, but hopefully we won't be too long with this segment so we can start again. So Peter, tell me a little bit about Market Deeping and the Railway Club.
Model Railway Club was started in the 70s. We've gone through a number of homes. We were for 16 years in a farm nearby, and then 2 or 3 years ago we discovered where we are now, and we were able to move in after doing some building work, thanks to very generous donations as a result of the disaster in 2019, when our exhibition was totaled, and I do mean totaled. We had layouts that were turned to matchwood. It was awful, absolutely awful. Out of it, the club has grown by a factor of 2. We are 82 members.
Wow.
15 of those are under the age of 18.
Fantastic.
So we have junior sessions, we have adult sessions, of course, but we have a mix. So on a Monday night, you might find teenagers working alongside adults. On a Thursday night, you might find older members working alongside 7 to 8, 9, 10-year-olds. So we have a mix and match economy where we welcome people through the door. As a registered charity, we literally welcome anybody, and we have people with all skills and we have people with none.
So how do you achieve the safeguarding issues?
That's a very interesting one, because in theory, if you're working with young people, you need DBS checks. As a charity, we have to go through what's called a responsible organisation to get individuals DBS checked. And that's actually quite a difficult and expensive process. And we took the decision some time ago now, when we started junior sessions about 2 or 3 years ago, that we would welcome parents. So youngsters come with their parents or their grandparents or their carer. So we don't have ultimate responsibility for those youngsters. That's vested in the parents that come with them. And the benefit of that is that actually some of them have joined the club. So we have not only the youngsters in the club, but we have mums and dads, we have grandparents. We've got one teenage member whose grandmother is a member of the club. We've got others who come and just sit and work. They bring their laptops in, we've got Wi-Fi. So they work while the youngsters are building their dioramas, working on layouts, using the test track, all sorts of other things going on. So we think, as far as we know, we are absolutely safe because parents are always present.
No, that's fantastic. So how many layouts are you guys do you have, and perhaps are you working on at the moment?
We have 3 or 4 completed layouts that go out on exhibition. We have others that we are constantly developing, even though they've been out on exhibition. We have 6 under construction at the moment, varying from this one, which was commissioned by BRM. It's a TT120 layout.
Right.
We call it Holcombe Beach. It's actually the stretch of line between Teignmouth and Dawlish, with Spray Point just here. And we've got another layout right behind us that is destined to go out to care homes as part of one of our outreach projects. We have a fully digital layout over there, which is Deeping Road MPD with sound. Mitchell Junction is over behind us. That is a result of the very first donor. We were given a massive equipment. We've named it after that donor. We have Market Obthorpe, which is an O-gauge layout just over there, which has been under construction for some time. That's going out on exhibition within the next 4 weeks to our own exhibition. So we have a whole range of layouts from N-gauge through to O-gauge. We have a wide variety of interests, as you'll understand. With 80 members, we have people who are interested in garden railways. So we'll have garden railways at our exhibition. We have people who are interested in live steam. So we'll have live steam at our exhibition. We're very lucky to have a close tie-up with the Peterborough Society of Model Engineers. They'll be bringing their live steam 5-inch ride-on railway. So people will come for a modest extra charge and be able to ride on a real steam train. We'll have in the exhibition, which I'll come on to perhaps in a bit, all sorts of other things for youngsters to do, for adults, skill-based workshops, all sorts of things.
So your outreach program, when we were talking before this, you mentioned that it's not a completely solid plan. There's a little waviness in there. But can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes, we started wanting to put projects into schools. That was the prime aim. I trained as a teacher and a youth worker,
right,
and that was my work for 20, 30 years. So I recognise that youngsters have talents. I recognise that they want to develop other skills, that they're interested in hobbies. And we had the possibility of working in schools, but unfortunately, we couldn't find the volunteers to support all of that. However, we do have the volunteers to take layouts out to other exhibitions. So we go to charity fairs, we go to other model railway exhibitions, and more recently, we've been working with care homes. One of our corporate sponsors is a care home company, and they've encouraged us to build a layout to go out to care homes for their residents to see and bring back memories. You know, it's all about memories in a care home. It's interesting to see and horrifying to see how dementia takes people. But the simplest thing, a train running around a track, can bring back memories for hundreds of years. You know, lots and that's nonsense stuff.
Well, you mentioned something.
I get emotional talking about it.
Oh, do you want to take a moment now?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hold that there.
It's
Yeah. So, Peter, you mentioned about an exhibition.
Our annual exhibition this year on the 11th and 12th of May is at Stamford Welland Academy, which is a couple of miles from here. Stamford's a beautiful town in South Lincolnshire. It dates back to Georgian times, but the academy is quite a new school, and we take over all the large spaces. We've 5 exhibition halls, from small to sports hall. We take over an area outside, so we'll have outside a garden railway, at least 1, possibly 2. We'll have live steam ride-on railway, provided courtesy of Peterborough Society of Model Engineers. Inside, as well as the 5 exhibition halls, dining hall course and refreshments, cake for sale, sweets, honey, because we've got local traders coming in as well. But we've also got a learning zone, and in the learning zone we'll have demonstrations. We'll have static demonstrations. We'll have engines running on compressed air for people to see how they work. We'll have people actually demonstrating skills. Tony Wright is going to be there doing a loco workshop. We have somebody who's expert at weathering. So there's all sorts of different things going on there. And in addition to that, we've another room set aside, which we're calling the kiddies zone. And that's going to have brio in it. It's going to have pieces of track that youngsters can simply plug together to run their trains. And we'll put some demonstration trains in there so that people can literally build a layout on the floor and have fun doing that, because we want to attract youngsters to the hobby, not just to the club, but to the hobby, as well as those who have more mature years. You know, I'm cracking on. So
yeah, that's maturity.
Yes, it
has the bolt of wisdom struck.
My father always used to say, "Grass don't grow on a busy street." But the important thing for us is so there's a wonderful educational saying: "Give me the boy, and I'll give you the man." But if you give me the boy, I'll give you the parents as well, because we attract youngsters, we attract parents, and they tend to join the club too. So we've an age range that goes from 8 to 90, which is absolutely wonderful. And it's just great to see the youngsters here. So we want to attract those youngsters, pre-club age, if you like, get them into the hobby, play trains on the floor, do some stuff there. That's absolutely fine, because we've got the space for it there. Don't have so much space here, but we can do it in the exhibition. So 11th, 12th of May, Stamford Welland Academy. Tickets are already on sale at a discounted price on our website. So if you go to www.mdmrc.org, don't put UK after it because that's somebody else, mdmrc.org, you can buy tickets online at a discounted price and come along and see us.
Fantastic. Well, just so you know, we are looking as Thunderbolt Models to sponsor Coventry Market to do a swap meet, and then later on an exhibition.
Fantastic.
So the swap meet is going to be the 22nd of June.
Okay.
And there we're looking. We're not going to bite off more than we can chew. It's going to be just a few people, traders, etc. But we're looking to try and include things where children can become involved. So I'm very, very much on board with everything you were saying about that. And then in November, and that's the 15th and 16th, again, Coventry Market, entry for that and for the swap meet are free, which is fantastic. We can't stop people from entering the market.
It's a fantastic market. I was there the other day. It's great.
Well, yes, we're there. Yes, we're organising it, but we don't make any money out of the specifically holding the event. We're passing everything on to people in either benefits for them to be there and frankly advertising. So hopefully we'll have 8, maybe 9 different clubs, because the point of it is to enable clubs who are within sort of striking distance of Coventry to be able to attract new members, not just the people who will pay to come to an event, or people who perhaps were just walking through the market and have seen it by accident, or are responding to other marketing. So hopefully you can make it as well for them.
Would love to.
Okie dokie.
Need to talk to the committee, as always with organisations like ours, because we're a registered charity. So
No. You said yes. I heard it.
Yeah, I said yes, but we have an outreach coordinator, and I don't know what his diary for the club is, so we have to be very careful.
Give me the outreach coordinator's address. I'll go and discuss it.
I don't tell you it's the old Bill, but never mind.
Right, okay. So now we've gone through events that are coming up. We really need to look, and perhaps I want to get your ideas and thoughts on the future of model railways. Now, if we can keep this to under 10 hours.
I'll try. Yeah, well, okay, so I'm 75. I've been involved in model railway since I was 11. And I'm seeing youngsters of younger than I was when I started, starting in the club. So in 75 years' time, they'll want to still be involved. I was contacted by the BBC and asked to appear on BBC Breakfast. I've been on the BBC One show, I've been on local radio, other television, all talking about the future of the hobby. Since Frank Hornby started model railways, it's been in decline. Well, of course it isn't. We've got new manufacturers, and I can list them, you know them. We've got new traders, I can list them, you know them. We've got new people coming in with 3D printing techniques. We've got people coming in with beautiful backscene work. We've got all sorts of new things. Lots of new models. The manufacturers are extending their ranges. You know, if I talk to Paula up at Metcalfe, they're extending their ranges. If I talk to folk over in Batman, they're extending their range. Their sales are up. This is a direct quote from Batman. Our sales are up. So, you know, is the hobby dying? No. Is it getting more expensive? Yes. And therein we have a problem, because youngsters can't afford the all bells, all whistles things that are going on. You know, if I wanted a decent locomotive, new locomotive with sound, digital, all the rest of it, you're looking at 300 quid or more. Youngsters can't afford that. Mm. So the second-hand market, I think, for good second-hand will always be strong, as long as it's reasonably priced. And youngsters, you know, I had to save up for my second locomotive, which I bought in Hamleys for £3.14. Mm. You know, in 1961.
Old money and everything.
And there you go. Still got the box, still marked the price. But youngsters do save up, but they don't have as much pocket money. If we grossed up through inflation £3.14 shillings for an A4 class Pacific, today that's about 95 quid. The equivalent now is 280 odd quid. And that's a bit of a price mismatch. Yes, it's got digital this and it's got digital that, but actually the chips don't cost that much. The product runs are not as big. So manufacturers have to capitalize on popularity, in my view, because they don't have thousands of locos, they have shorter runs. So the prices are going to be significantly higher, I suppose. I don't know, but that's my feeling.
Now, Terry's continuously told me that effectively it's the same tooling going back a long way between the different manufacturers as they bought each other or whatever. If the tooling's the same, okay, maybe a couple of bits and bobs, but what is this extra cost going on?
There are some tools that have been changed over, but people like Cavalex, Rapido, Bachmann certainly now, Hornby certainly, it's all new tooling.
Right.
The tooling that built Airfix, the tooling that built Mainline, yes, that was passed on, but actually now there's far more detail, even than those models had. And if I compare a Mainline coach with a new Hornby coach or a new Bachmann coach, the detailing is far, far superior. The running is probably better too. So I think there's an increased cost for tooling, and the designs are sent to China, they have prototypes back, then they improve the prototypes and that has to go back, and there's this backwards and forwards movement all the time until we eventually get to a final product. I ordered a new locomotive 18 months ago. I still don't have it because it wasn't in production. It was a promised locomotive. And we have this thing about managing expectations. Actually, there's one manufacturer out there at the moment that's very good about saying, oh, these are the locos we've got in this week. This is the stock we've had in new, and this is what's coming next week. Not what's coming in 9 months' time or 12 months' time or has got production delays. We've got it. You can buy it now. And that's really important, especially for youngsters. I've worked with youngsters all my life, and I trained as a teacher and a youth worker. So I've worked with them extensively, and they're impulsive. They don't like waiting. They don't understand waiting. They want that thing now so that they can develop their hobby. So saying to them that a locomotive will be around in 15 months, 12 months, 9 months, whatever it is, they can't wait that long. They'll go and spend the money somewhere else.
Yep.
They can't, I can say as an adult, well, okay, fine, well, I'll budget that in 18 months' time or 12 months' time, whatever it is, I've got that loco. That's not the way a young person's mind works.
No, a young person will have left school, be at university, or if they started then, be in their first job, or probably if they started in their first job, they're in their second job 3 years later. That's too much movement. And also, is that the right time? Because I don't see people of that age wanting to tie up capital in something like a hobby. It's
but you see,
cars, girls.
Well, maybe, but reflecting on my teenage years, yes, I was involved in Model Railways. I went to college, got my first job. Model Railways didn't really feature. By the time I was in my 30s, I had young children. oh, I've got some model railway stuff. What if my son's interested? Because I am.
The old story.
I built a model railway for my son. No, for me. There is a time when I suspect, as young adults, people will think, well, model railways, it's all a bit naff. Actually, it grabs you and it keeps hold of you. And I'm living proof of that. It's kept hold of me.
Well, as you know, I'm not actually a model railway
never mind.
enthusiast.
Never
I know.
mind.
I take pills for it.
Good.
But what I find amazing is the sheer scope that we've got, from vastly complicated electronic systems that will turn all the lights in the right colour and things like that, for the pre-planned train to then go to or through, etc., through to all of the, I suppose it's the scenery and things like that. I just find it fascinating, and meeting people at some of the exhibitions where I had certain views as to what I thought I was going to find, but it was what was that one in that we first went to, the bit near Loughborough?
Great Central Railway.
It is the Great Central Railway exhibition, absolutely superb. But I commented that it was the greatest amount of happiness I'd found in one place without the use of techno music. It was true contentment. And I kept talking to people, and they would tell me little things, and you'd find that there was a lady whose husband was into the railway. She wasn't in the slightest bit interested in that. She loved making the scenery, etc. Or the situation was reversed. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And I found that really fascinating.
I'm somewhat of a stickler for statistics. Can't help it. Program spreadsheets and all that sort of stuff in one of my roles. And we have an influx of members over the last 3 or 4 years, some of whom know very little about railway modelling, some of whom are very experienced, returning to the club. And I thought it was worth just sitting down and writing to all the new members of the club, welcoming them individually and saying, I know that there are at least 26 different skills involved in building a model railway. 26. And you can itemise them if you like, and I did. Depends, some of it can be scenic, some of it can be electronics, some of it can be track laying, some of it can be ballasting, and so on, all sorts of different things. And when you think of it in that sense, that there are at least 26 skills that people are building year on year, this is not just a hobby where you lay a bit of track on the carpet and run a loco on it. To build something like this is Holcombe Beach, TT120 layout. This has taken a team of 16 men and some of our younger members 6 months. And it's taken an enormous amount of research. We've had people actually going down and riding the line, sitting here, photographing trains and photographing the tunnels, photographing the bridges, doing the research. It's taken an inordinate amount of time just to get the detail right. We've even got 2 different scenarios for the sea. This is just gentle, sandy beach, actually using sand from Holcombe Beach. We've also got a seascape where the waves are crashing over. Sound and light to go with it.
Fantastic.
We can't quite get the waves crashing over the trains. And I have been on a train on that line, in a train on that line where the waves have been crashing over me. and it's not a pleasant experience. Fascinating, but yeah. So we couldn't do that in the model, but we've got as close as we could. And this isn't finished.
No.
You know, this is going to be on display in May, but it's going to be at the NEC in November, at the new show in the NEC. That's the other thing, you know, we talk about a decline of the hobby. Oh, well, you know, Worley's not doing anything anymore. Worley Club have done it for 30 odd years. But who's taken it on? Oh, BRM have taken it on. Now, BRM's a commercial organisation. They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't think it was going to be, you know, if it wasn't viable, they wouldn't be touching it with a barge pole. The NEC is expensive. Inevitably, it's huge. So we've got an NEC show in April, isn't there? With Great Train Exhibition. That's Key Publishing, Hornby Railways, Hornby Magazine. We've got this one with BRM in November. Now, I can quote so many examples of why the hobby isn't dying, because people are picking it up and doing things with it and expanding it.
I mean, I see so many crossovers with other hobbies. You know, obviously there's the military modelling side of it, and bluntly, all of the scenery is going to be pretty much the same for them. And that's one of the things that, as Thunderbolt Models, we're trying to push at the expo. We are inviting other types of modeler. Hopefully there'll be a lady who makes dolls' houses. Hopefully there'll be the military modelers and a few other people. And basically it's anybody who is into a hobby where it is their imagination and they need a skill or skills to be able to actually do it. And it doesn't really matter whether it's making up a timetable or making up a model.
But there's all sorts of interesting things about railway modelling. This could reflect prototype activity, have the actual trains that ran on the line in a certain period. Geographically, it's as accurate as we can make it. But when you're building a model railway, your imagination can run riot. So at home, my layout is of the Severn Valley Railway in Shropshire, as it was never built.
Yeah.
A friend of mine calls it a Severed Valley Railway because it's got bridges that lift up to let me through. But it was never built double track. It was intended to be, but never was. My layout's twin track. Kidderminster Railway Station, yes, it's there, but the track is truncated and I've had to miss some sidings out. I haven't got room. I discovered when I was over there the other day. Bridge North is on a curve. It's not actually on a curve the way I've had to build it. I've got my great-grandmother's house down there looking up the Bridge North Railway Station. It really was. But behind Bridge North Railway Station, you haven't got the castle, it's in front of it. So in a model, you can choose to be absolutely prototypically accurate, or you can let your memory and your vision run riot, and you can build something for yourself. There is no right, there is no wrong.
Fantastic. That is actually the quote. My lad, there is no right or wrong. No, that was good. Now, we need to wind this up. So is there anything that we haven't really gone into that you would like to add?
I think we've explored the hobby in all sorts of ways.
Well, I just want to put in the one quip that we had when you were explaining that you had taken over the spare room at whatever point, and then your son, with very poor planning on your part, I have to say, was born and then needed a nursery. And you seem to suggest that he was going to get the spare room, but I think it would have been much better if you'd given him the shed. You know, because I'm trying to get my son at the moment to move out to the shed.
No. My son has done very well for himself. Thank you very much, having had a bedroom and not the shed.
Okay. Well, look, Peter, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure, and I hope that you've enjoyed listening to the banter and to the words of wisdom of Peter. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.